make sure that I was clear when I was talking about the Million Man March, and like you said, and like I suggested, that was for us. And this is why I mentioned that. Because I was in Columbus, Ohio. I was a TV reporter at the NBC affiliate on that day in Columbus. And one of the things that was happening all over the country was that because there were so many black men, what we now know, what we now call, because of COVID-19, frontline workers, transportation workers, grocery store people, business owners and managers, they essentially shut down Columbus and other cities like that. But then they came back to work on Monday. There has been a pledge to not spend money on July 7th. And then what are they going to do on the 8th? Because the United States has come through a massive economic downturn, the biggest economic disaster imposed because of COVID-19. I'm that July 7th, I'm like, a day? Are you kidding me? When people haven't been working for 3 months? So my question is, is this protest the new wave? This is
only if it's a protest. Only if it's a protest and not a movement. After mobilization, you must have organization. Now, I want to say that I want to talk to the new leaders out there. See, like the brothers and sisters that you have on here are the ones that can make the change. Systematic changes. It's true. If you have a big march and the leadership does not have firm instructions and follow up and they're happy to have a crowd, then things won't go right.
America has a for attention.
We want this. We have a demonstration at the White House at 12 noon Saturday. We're calling for millions. But what is the follow-up after that? Well, Black Lawyers for Justice is instituting police training, is introducing online and in-person police training and survival skills. And that's something that more and more people are going to hear about. I'm going to be conducting that every week. Groups that are out here that, like, I'm putting pressure on the new Black Panther Party. You have to establish, and these other groups that you see out here holding guns, well, we're being killed by officers with guns. We must have active police patrols in our community. We must have organized police patrols. So there are policy changes that we ourselves must make. We must have a policy of activism and engagement. That's a policy in and of itself, just to keep the pressure on all of these pressure points, the governors, the mayors, and all of that. That's a policy of pressure, not just a moment. A policy of constant pressure for change. That's a policy.
But I want to say, and Andre has been somewhat modest, and I know her very well. She just went on this run about what essentially is criminal justice reform, and that's great. But also, when you talk about young people such as Andre and such as Mike, when people like Andre are literally planting seeds in young people's minds, I'm talking about people under the age of 10, to not only understand what it means, the history of Black and brown people in this country. Andre, I'm giving you the plug because this is what you do. To whether it be through music, through education, through conversation, to also understand, to recognize racism when you see it, instead of saying, I wonder, is that? So, that is, I think that yes, we do need policy, but we also need to plant those seeds so that the trees that grow do not have the literal and philosophical nooses of racism on them. Talk to me a little bit about that, Andre.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important, as I had mentioned, when we talk about defunding police departments and investing in spaces that empower young people to exercise skills and, criminal justice, or even just to open space, safe space for them to have conversations. I run an art studio space called Art Lab at the Smithsonian. I run team programs at the Smithsonian Institution, and I have a space called Art Lab, and kids come there after school. And just thinking about other after school spaces, particularly at Art Lab, we do our best to make sure, number one, I make sure that the staff that are in place reflect the young people that come into our space. Most of the kids that come into our space are Black and brown kids. And so while they may not be able to have conversations about what's happening in school, right? Go to class, learn English, stay on topic. We don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. Our school is, funded by the government. We can't have conversations about Donald Trump, right? So they come to us. We better be able to open space for them to have these conversations, to vent, to decompress. Another thing that I think is really important is self-preservation, having a space for them to come and to seek healing. I remember having a young person come to me, Miss Ray, I had to run home in the rain yesterday. Well, okay, what happened? I couldn't use my hood. I had a black hoodie on, and I was afraid to put my hood on because I thought that a police officer would shoot me. What? Probably not a conversation that you're going to have in the school, but a conversation in our space, a safe space they can come to and see people that look like them, that are demonstrating the methods that we want to put in place, or that we are putting in place to fight for our freedom, right? Conversations that you can have with us, that you can trust us to be able to give you feedback on, and to help you to understand and unpack what just transpired. The fact that this young person could not put his hood on to run home in the rain. He didn't run. He said, I had to walk. I didn't want anyone to see me running. I didn't want to have my hood on. Just referencing Trayvon Martin. Right? It's a problem. We need to open spaces for our young people to have these conversations. They're not happening in schools. I know, because I've taught in the school system. They're not happening in schools. I have had conversations with principals and with administration, being scolded. No, we're not having these conversations. This is not meant for our space. This is not meant for our school. So, okay, now I'm in the after school space. Now I'm in a space where I know that I can offer that to our young people because it's important and it's necessary. I can't be out here, just ignoring what's happening. My kids are looking at me. They're looking at me. They're DMing me. Hey, I'm Miss Andre. We see you online. We see you, at these protests. We want to be out there. I want to come out there and meet you up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be that example. And so, again, defund these police departments and put that money in places that can offer our young people these safe spaces to be able to have this conversation, and to seek that healing, to be informed. To be in front of people like, who I have on this call right now. That's super, super important.
Yeah. I have 30 seconds for each of you. I'll start with you, Mike.